There are wounds in life that cut deeper than any blade, not from the hands of enemies, but from those we hold closest to our hearts. These betrayals leave scars that never truly heal, echoing through the years like a whisper of broken trust. This is one such story, a stark reminder of the fragile threads that bind our lives. Jack was a dedicated IT consultant, a man whose life revolved around the gentle rhythms of family. He lived with his wife, Emily, and their 6-year-old daughter Lily, in a peaceful Chicago suburb. For Jack, family was more than a word. It was a purpose. Every bedtime story whispered under the soft glow of a nightlight. Every Saturday morning in the park, every shared laugh and whispered promise formed the foundation of his world. To him, fatherhood wasn't just a role, but a calling, and Lily was the heartbeat of their small world, bright-eyed, endlessly curious, a spirit that brought warmth to their home. Jack balanced his demanding career with the tender responsibilities of fatherhood, never letting the pressures of his professional life overshadow what truly mattered. He wore his devotion like a second skin, a quiet strength that guided him through long workdays and sleepless nights. So, when a significant career opportunity in New York arose, Jack saw it not just as a step forward for himself, but as a path toward a brighter future for his family. Before leaving, he poured his heart into preparations. He stocked the kitchen with Lily's favorite snacks, wrote out a meticulous schedule for Emily, and kissed his daughter goodbye, the warmth of her small arms around his neck a comforting anchor against the whirlwind of his busy life. But as he turned to leave, something felt amiss. Emily's goodbye was distant, her hug limp, her eyes avoiding his with a chill that crept under his skin. Jack, ever the rational soul, brushed it off, chalking it up to the exhaustion of parenting or the strain of their routine. He couldn't have known then that this fleeting moment would be his last memory of his daughter alive. As soon as Jack's car disappeared down the quiet, tree-lined street, the mask Emily wore for years began to slip. She moved with a sudden urgency, her steps quick and purposeful. Upstairs, she stripped off her casual clothes, the ones that spoke of lazy mornings and family picnics, and replaced them with a sleek, form-fitting dress. She painted her face with practiced precision, each stroke of mascara and swipe of lipstick a calculated effort to become someone new, someone free. She reached for her phone, her fingers moving swiftly as she canceled the babysitter she'd arranged, an unspoken promise now discarded like an afterthought. She paused only once, her eyes catching her reflection in the hallway mirror. For a brief, unguarded moment, her face flickered with something unreadable, regret perhaps or the ghost of guilt, but it passed as quickly as it came. Without another glance back, she grabbed her keys and stepped into the warm summer evening, the door clicking shut behind her with a finality that echoed through the silent house. Upstairs, Lily stirred, her small form tangled in the pastel sheets her father had lovingly tucked around her the night before. She blinked awake, rubbing her eyes with the soft back of her hand, her mind still hazy with the remnants of a nap. The house felt different, the comforting hum of her mother's presence replaced by an unsettling stillness. She slipped from her bed, her bare feet padding softly against the cool hardwood floor, as she wandered into the hallway. Shadows stretched long in the fading light, the house too quiet, too empty. Would you like me to expand this further? Or perhaps weave in some more intense emotional beats to heighten the impact? Confusion clung to her like a shadow as she wandered through the empty halls, her small feet padding softly against the cool tiles. Every corner she turned, every shadow she passed, whispered of the absence she couldn't understand. "Mommy," she called, her voice a fragile echo against the hollow silence. Hunger, sharp and insistent, finally pulled her into the kitchen, her tiny fingers reaching for the fruit bowl on the counter, her heart still hopeful that any moment now, her mother would appear, arms wide, smile warm. But upstairs, a forgotten stove burner flickered to life, a small spark that would soon bloom into a nightmare. Miles away, in a Manhattan restaurant bustling with polished laughter and clinking glasses, Jack felt the vibration of his phone in his pocket. He glanced at the screen, expecting a routine update, maybe a "we miss you" from Emily, or a sleepy good night from Lily. Instead, the number was unfamiliar. He answered, his mind still half in his business dinner, a confident smile fixed in place. "Mr. Thompson?" The voice on the other end was strained, urgent. "This is Nurse Hamilton from St. Joseph's Hospital. Your daughter, Lily, has been in a severe accident. She's in critical condition. We need you to authorize a blood transfusion. Time is critical." For a moment, the world around Jack muted, the clatter of silverware and soft hum of conversation fading into a distant roar. His breath caught, his heart a wild drumbeat against his ribs. His mind fractured, struggling to process the words. An accident? Lily? His vibrant, laughing daughter now lay on the edge of life and death. He bolted from the table, muttering a hurried apology to the startled faces around him, his mind already miles away. He flagged down a taxi with shaking hands, the phone still pressed to his ear, his heart a frantic, stuttering pulse. Every second felt like a cruel eternity as the car weaved through traffic, the city's bright lights streaking past in a surreal blur. The airport was a maze of lines and impatient travelers, but Jack moved through it like a man possessed, his focus singular and desperate. He booked the earliest flight back to Chicago, his mind spinning with half-formed prayers and bitter regrets. Why did he leave? Why hadn't he felt that something was wrong? Why hadn't Emily called him first? The flight itself was a torment. The minutes dragged, each one a fresh wound, his thoughts a relentless spiral of fear and self-recrimination. He saw Lily's face in every cloud that passed by the window, heard her laughter in the whine of the engines, felt the weight of her small hand in his, a phantom warmth that only deepened the cold settling in his bones. When he finally burst into the hospital's sterile, white-tiled hallway, his shoes slapping against the polished floor, the grim faces around him told him the truth before a single word was spoken. A doctor approached, his eyes heavy with the burden of impossible news. "Mr. Thompson," he began, his voice low, measured, the tone of someone who had delivered this kind of pain too many times. "We did everything we could, but we couldn't save her." The words shattered Jack's world. The floor seemed to drop away, the walls closing in, the harsh fluorescent lights burning his tear-blurred eyes. He crumpled, his knees hitting the cold, unfeeling tiles, his soul fracturing into 1,000 pieces. Lily was gone, her laughter silenced, her bright eyes forever closed, the light she brought into his life extinguished. He felt his heart crack, the pieces sharp and unrelenting, cutting into his very being. Hours later, as the first light of dawn crept through the hospital windows, Jack sat alone in the quiet, sterile waiting room, his head in his hands, his soul hollowed out by grief. But as the numbness set in, something else took root, a cold, simmering rage. When he finally returned home, the house felt like a mausoleum, every shadow a reminder of Lily's absence, every silent room an accusation. He sat at the kitchen table, his fists clenched, his eyes fixed on the door. Emily arrived hours later, her footsteps light, almost carefree. She wore the same dress from the night before, her hair still tangled, the faint, acrid scent of alcohol clinging to her skin. She dropped her purse onto the counter, her movements casual, unburdened, as if she had simply stepped out for a walk. It took her a moment to notice him, sitting there, silent and unblinking, his eyes hollow, his face a mask of barely contained fury. She froze, her eyes flicking to the pile of untouched dishes, the cold, empty high chair, the silence that wrapped around them like a suffocating fog. "Where were you?" His voice broke the silence, each word a blade, cutting through the fragile, artificial normalcy she had tried to carry in with her. She hesitated, her gaze sliding away. "Out," she mumbled, her voice strained, defensive. "Just out with a friend. I needed a break." Jack's hands tightened, his knuckles white. "A break?" he whispered, the words trembling with the fury building inside him. "You left Lily alone. She got hurt. She died while you were out having fun." The color drained from Emily's face, her lips parting in shock. "I didn't know. I didn't mean." "Don't!" Jack cut her off, his voice shaking, his body trembling with the force of his grief. "Don't you dare say you didn't mean for this to happen. Because of you, Lily is gone. Because of your selfishness." Silence fell between them, heavy and suffocating. The air felt thick, unbreathable, every second stretching into eternity. Later that day, Jack placed the divorce papers on the table, his signature a harsh slash against the pristine white pages. The woman he once loved, the mother of his only child, was now a stranger to him, a ghost haunting the ruins of the life they had once built together. There was no more room for forgiveness. Not after this. Jack never truly found peace, but he found a purpose. He tells his story now as a warning, a plea to those who still have time to cherish what truly matters. Because the people you trust the most can still destroy your world. And sometimes there is no going back.